Good morning, brave adventurers. Welcome back to the channel. I am AmalgamAsh, and today I am unboxing Avalon Hill's re-release of the HeroQuest expansion, The Frozen Horror. After the unboxing, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of as many of the assets as I can, so please stick around, stay tuned, and let's get started. So the first thing to notice here is the size of this box. It is bigger than the other released expansions, Return of the Witchlord and Keller's Keep, for the 2021 edition of HeroQuest. Here's how it compares in size to the currently available retail expansion, Return of the Witchlord. Keller's Keep is the same size as this box. And here it is compared to the original Barbarian Quest pack, The Frozen Horror. It is a little bit bigger of a box. It seems to be made of a slightly sturdier material, but I'll review this again in about 30 years and let you know how it stands up. Bit of a comparison between the boxes before we continue. Notice that they continued the trend of redoing the art, but keeping the same image, just in a different style. I think the new Barbarian looks awesome on the cover, and they continued the trend of, even though it is a male Barbarian shown on the cover, the game expansion actually comes with a female Barbarian. I thought was funny. All right, I just got this in the mail today. I ordered this from Amazon. So I ordered this from Amazon, I think last week, not even the week before, and received a shipment estimation with my order confirmation that said it would be available mid to late July to August, and it's July 2nd. So that estimation was really overshot and just really beat to a pulp by how early I got this thing. I did not expect this to be orderable when it was, and I certainly did not expect it for it to arrive when it did. That's absolutely crazy. I will stop here to show you the back of the box, which of course you've already seen pictures of, but now is the time if you want to compare the actual product with the pictures that were shown. We do see that we have a total of 12 men-at-arms, or mercenaries as they are called, 4 completely different sculpts as opposed to the 4 identical sculpts, each one with a removable or replaceable weapon. I actually really loved that system. I was excited to see how Avalon Hill would recreate that. 2 plastic sculpts of the iron and wooden doors that are necessary for these quests. The female barbarian sculpt, which we'll get to take a look at shortly. The new blue combat dice and blue movement dice, really more just of a motif for this expansion. I think that that's pretty cool, no pun intended. I think that it will be conventional now for Avalon Hill to have these different themed dice for future expansions. I would actually be really interested to see if we would get, say, green dice for perhaps a future possible Elf Quest pack, or red dice or purple dice for other X packs, which are not announced. This is just speculation on my part. We of course get 3 ice gremlins, 2 yetis, 2 polar warbears, and the Frozen Horror himself. So that's the back of the box. This is in comparison with the back of the original box, which came with a little bit more artwork and screenshots of all of the figurines, sans the doors. We do see that there is a difference with the contents in terms of how many miniatures there are, as well as how many game cards there are. There are 5 additional game cards with the new expansion, but that doesn't mean that they are necessarily new content or cards for new content. It's conventional now for Avalon Hill to kind of follow the European classic system of having cards for the equipment. And so that's what we're going to see with this. As I read it, we're going to have 1 new hero card for the Barbarian and 4 cards for the different potions that you are able to acquire in this expansion, unique, apart from the base game. All right, let's lift the lid. Gotta check under the box, under the lid. Here we go. The first thing I see is flyer, free to download. Scan the QR code to download the HeroQuest companion app. You and I may know this as the Zargon app. Then our full color tile sheet, ready to be punched out. We've got all of our original rooms From the Frozen Horror, the Ice Slide, some skull tiles, the Ice Key, different tiles representing the new hazards that you come across in the Frozen Horror, the awesome caged room and room with the chasm, and on the reverse we have the outside tile. I've always loved the concept of the outside. And then we've got the tile that has the enemies up on top. This has special mechanics and a use case in the quest book, and it really opens up the possibilities for your imagination. We've got all kinds of other tiles, all used in the original game, coming back for this remake slash remaster re-release. Here is our beautiful quest book for the Frozen Horror. Complete art on the cover, Frozen Horror itself on reverse. This is what Zargon went to the north to wake up. This is what Zargon decided needed to be woke up after 30 plus years of slumber in order to try to tackle the monumental task of defeating the new heroes and the mythic heroes. So at a glance, this is what comes in the box. I just heard something rattle below, so we'll check that out here in a second. So the first thing I'm noticing is the ice blue plastic for the doors, and a slightly different motif for these than does come with the iron and wooden doors for the other two available expansions. That's really awesome. I happen to really like this art. This is going to give you all kinds of new ideas for painting when you get these under a paintbrush. I'm not going to paint these. I'm going to leave these as is because I think that they're really cool as they are. The chaotic eye center of the door really sells this one for me, plus the snow up top. But we're going out of order. Let's start with everything in the top tray. The original Frozen Horror only came with 6 mercenary figurines, while this one comes with 12, so that's a pretty good value. And we are inspecting, and actually I'm really surprised to see that these are female mercenaries. That is a detail I did not pick up on. We're going to have male and female mercenaries. Now, I am loving the bear motif on the buckler for these sword and board mercenaries. And now the crossbowmen, who are all crouching down in order to get a clean shot at the polar warbears, at the yetis. Okay, I'm actually really super glad that our halberdiers are female. They look amazing. Just an awesome expectation subversion. I love to see this. Ladies with huge axes coming to town. I also think their manner of dress, their equipment is really cool. Their boots look really nice. So does this sort of gambeson that it looks like they're wearing. Okay, the last trio of mercenaries, a trio of male longsword wielders, and I gotta say, I have taken all of these out and no quality issues, no defects with these guys. Nothing that I'm gonna have to fix using hot water. Already an improvement in quality. I really hope that this is the same for all of you guys picking up this expansion. I can kind of see glue. The arms were glued on. That is not something that I complain about personally. The next one I'm going to take out is the female barbarian herself. She is very strong. She is an absolute unit, just beautiful. She has a wonderful thick shield. You weapon buffs, please tell me what kind of shield that is in the comments below. Is that a heater shield? I don't think that's quite right. I think I'm wrong. She has an enormous sword. You can see the flex in her bicep as she holds that sword up on high in defiant challenge to the forces of Zargon. We have appropriate thigh. That's right, I said it. We have a wonderful fur cape, and we have flowing hair. This is an awesome lady barbarian. And for anybody who wanted to see it, this is a direct comparison of the female barbarian that comes with the mythic tier of HeroQuest. Sadly, no longer available. She was available during the crowdfund pledge only. And now the commercially available Frozen Horror female barbarian, who you can get. Just go order this from your favorite game store. All right, it's dice time. These dice are translucent. You can actually see right through them. This is the one advantage of the plastic dice over the wooden. With wooden dice, you can't have cool stuff like this. You could color them differently, sure, but you wouldn't be able to see through them. So I'm gonna give it to Avalon Hill for that decision on this one. I don't think we'll ever see the wooden dice again. There are folks out there who prefer the plastic over the wood. I prefer the wood, but I understand. And I actually really, really like these. Our blue movement dice. I'll save the Frozen Horror and the cards for just a little bit later. All right, and here are our Yetis, looking a little more threatening than they did in the original. Still very, very furry. This must be an extremely cold climate, but the detail on these faces, they are ready to rip you to shreds with these enormous jaws, these humongous teeth. That is, if they don't pick you up and squash you from their ferocious hugs. They have very large hands, and it looks like they know how to strike and punch. Love these feet. Just ridiculously dangerous feet. I was looking forward to seeing these guys. These are the ice gremlins. They have a different style about them than the regular HeroQuest goblins. These guys have facial hair. They have the most hilarious grins on their faces. They have the ability to steal from you, so you need to take these guys out and fast. And then they've got their little swords that kind of look like they are made of ice. Just overall, they're ready to gang up on you and make your dungeon life a little harder, as if you needed that. You get 3 of these guys. There's no variation or anything like that. They're just a new mob to take out. All right, what's my personal favorite mob out of this whole expansion, the classic and the new one, are the Polar Warbears. I love the Polar Warbear. He's awesome. He's amazing. He is ready to deal some serious damage. He is kitted in armor. He is roaring. He's lunging, he's threatening, he's ready to either swipe or attack with this spiked club, or both. His armor has dents, dings, scratches. He's seen a few, if not several fights. You get 2 of these guys to throw at your heroes. Finally, the Frozen Horror himself. This is the largest of all of the HeroQuest figurines that exist to date, the exception being the dragon. And I'm gonna say the Frozen Horror could take out the dragon even on a bad day. Frozen Horror, no, I'm gonna go back on that statement earlier. I think that the Frozen Horror is a bigger figurine than the dragon. The dragon has some help from this kind of column that he sits on. The Frozen Horror is just all unit. He's all here. He's 100% character, ready for battle. Something interesting about the horror is we have the chaos, or dread, symbol on the bottom, the symbol of Zargon's forces. That must represent boss, last boss of expansion. I think these guys use maybe roughly the same amount of plastic in their molds, but this guy is much, much bigger. If you do not count the base, he's a larger character than the dragon from the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. So well done, Avalon Hill, on that. The last thing in this expansion are the character sheets. They have a bit of a blue sheen to them. We have frozen axes, the same axe wielded by the Frozen Horror. They look like they're printed on the kind of resume paper that you find at the store. You decide your name and your accomplishments would just look better on it. I actually really love the idea of themed character sheets. It puts more character sheets out there in circulation. It says, hey, you can use these instead of your other ones. It might give you some inspiration for your characters. It gives you an excuse to make more characters. It gives you an excuse to play the game just a little bit more, and I love that. I 100% support it. If you order this, you will get your standard character pad. Mine seems to have been dinged up a little bit just up top. That's not a big deal for me. I don't care. Here are all the threats of this expansion right here, all together grouped up. It doesn't seem like there are very many, but keep in mind that this utilizes the base game as well, so you're going to see monsters from the original HeroQuest along with these guys. These guys are just here to remind you of pain and personal choices gone awry. Thankfully, you are not alone in this fight. You have the female barbarian and a pack of mercenaries to hire. So for a cost, they will accompany you, and they will make sure that the frozen horror doesn't horrify you. Now, the last thing I want to do is go through all of the cards that come with the new edition Frozen Horror. There are a total of 35, and that's sure to include every single original card from the classic version of the game. So we have Chill, we have Ice Wall, and these are dread spells. Skate, Ice Storm, Mind Freeze, Soothe, and then we have the artifacts for this expansion: the Amulet of the North, the Ring of Warmth, the Armband of Ice, the Snowshoes of Speed, the Spell Scroll of Chill, the Spell Scroll of Ice Storm, the Spell Scroll of Ice Bridge, the Spell Scroll of Psychic Recovery, the Spell Scroll of Skate, Spell Scroll of Warmth. Next, we have the treasure cards that come with this expansion. Poison, Potion of Magic Resistance. We have a second Potion of Magic Resistance, the Potion of Warmth, and a second Potion of Warmth, Potion of Battle Rage, and the Potion of Rejuvenation, the Potion of Icy Strength, and the Potion of Frost Skin. Little errata on my part, these last 4 cards actually count as equipment cards. So the Potion of Icy Strength, Potion of Rejuvenation, Potion of Battle Rage, and Potion of Frost Skin are equipment cards. Next, we have the new female barbarian character card, and she's lovely. That is awesome. She's got battle scars or perhaps war paint adorning her face, a crown that might be a symbol of her status with other barbarians, a jewel encrusted in the middle of her cape, and of course the standard details: 3 attack dice, 2 defend dice, 8 body, and 2 mind, with the movement of 2 red dice and the starting weapon of a broadsword. Next up, we have the wonderful mercenary cards. These cards depict the mercenaries and kind of tell you what symbol they have, as well as their abilities and their cost. Their special ability for the crossbowmen: they wield crossbows. The halberdier is able to make diagonal attacks. This is a treat, having this lovely new art. The swordsman doesn't have any special abilities, but the attack and defend dice are definitely good to have here. And the scout, wow, she is awesome. The special ability is the dwarf-like ability to remove traps, of course. They also have pretty high movement. Now we have the monster cards, my favorite, the Polar Warbear. Polar Warbear has special ability of 2 attacks, and so their attack dice is 4/4, not just 1 number, but 2. They can make 2 attacks, so they'll roll 4 attack dice, and then roll another 4 attack dice immediately after in a separate attack on the same turn. The Yeti, I'm not as fond of this picture as I am literally every other depiction of the Yeti I've seen, but that's fair. That's fair. Even the symbol looks more threatening. The special ability of the Yeti is the Hug Attack. I think I'm just a bit dubious about it because it looks like me after I roll out of bed, horns and all. The Ice Gremlin, this guy looks supremely punchable, and he has the special ability of steal items, as if you needed that in your life. I was right, they are swords made of ice. They're just ice picks. Ice picks are deadly. They leave no clues behind after they melt. Finally, the Frozen Horror, the biggest, the baddest. The special ability of being a spellcaster, and he has 6 body points. This guy is going to be a real beast when you encounter him, if you can get that far. And we've already compared boxes, so I'm not going to do that again. Alright, first up, a comparison of the cards. Of course, the classic edition of HeroQuest does not come with the 4 potion cards, being that this is a US release and that was not their convention. The new edition of HeroQuest does come with equipment cards to cover possession of the Potion of Icy Strength, the Potion of Rejuvenation, the Potion of Battle Rage, and the Potion of Frost Skin. In the Classic Edition, these are relegated to listings on the Alchemist's Shop page. New HeroQuest came with a companion app flyer. Old HeroQuest came with a mini catalog so that I could order as many elf packs as I wanted for $15 a piece. Go figure. The spell scroll for Chill. This card has remained the same. The spell scroll of Ice Storm. The spell scroll for Ice Bridge. Also the same. The spell scroll of Psychic Recovery. The spell scroll for Skate. The spell scroll for Warmth seems to have been kept the exact same. The spell scroll for Poison, while we had funny, hilarious art of your character being poisoned, choked out, as they lose mind points. The new one is just the flask. Potion of Warmth is almost identical to its old self, at least in terms of motif. Potion of Magic Resistance. The Snowshoes of Speed. I'm sorry. These are hilarious. They're just tennis rackets. Looks like the effects were kept the exact same. The Armband of Ice. The Ring of Warmth. Amulet of the North. It still adds 2 body points and 1 mind point to the Barbarian's totals. The Soothe Dread Spell. The Mind Freeze Dread Spell. Our reimagined art, which still has that lovely old classic fantasy flair, still reimagines a dwarf being afflicted by this ability. The Ice Storm still sees a very cold barbarian. The spell of Skate still seems to afflict, well, a Dread Warrior this time instead of a Chaos Warrior, understandably. Ice Wall. I actually like the art on the old card a little bit better. The art on the new card is almost equally cool, though. I don't know. They're different, but they're both pretty cool. Chill. I love the illustration of the female elf on the new card. Now it's time for monster card comparisons. This is the Ice Gremlin. His stats are the same, of course. The old Ice Gremlin, no less threatening, really. He's just a short little imp full of evil, ready to just take your stuff. The Yeti. Yeah, I actually like the older illustration of the Yeti better. To each their own. To each their own. I do like it better, though. The Polar Warbear. Man, I love the Polar Warbear's new illustration, though. My classic version of HeroQuest Barbarian Quest Pack did not come with a Scout card, so I can't compare that for you. I do have a Scout card in my Wizards of Morcar, but I'm not getting it out right now. The Swordsman. I love the new Swordsman. I love him. The Halberdier. I love the new Halberdier. I really prefer these new female mercenaries. The Crossbowman. Yeah, the new Crossbowman looks awesome too. Classic Barbarian Quest does not come with a Barbarian card. And finally, the Frozen Horror. He looks really cool in both of these renditions. I don't mind the classic Frozen Horror look at all. So this is going to be a pretty simple comparison starting out. All of the mercenaries for the classic expansion look the exact same. They just have interchangeable weapons. The new mercenaries are completely different sculpts. That was the old sword and board. This is the halberdier. Now, I can't say anything bad here. The new crossbowman is ready to fire. The old crossbowman simply is standing ready to load. The mercenary with the longsword in the classic X-Pack looks pretty ready to attack. The new one is just a bit more ready. He is actually lunging just a bit. Alright, Ice Gremlins. They actually minified the Ice Gremlin. The Ice Gremlins of old look a bit more threatening. Their weapons are larger, even though the scale is supposed to be a bit taller with the new HeroQuest. The new Ice Gremlins look like they could be stomped into the ground by the Barbarian, though no less threatening in terms of stats. The old Ice Gremlins, they look a lot more fearsome and a lot more impressive on the board. I would almost be inclined to say the same thing about the older Yeti, but really that's only because, in my opinion, the older Yeti looks like he is ready to do a hug attack. We all know the hug attack. Some of us absolutely hate it. It is what it is. The new Yeti looks like he's going to punch holes in ice walls. The old Yeti looks a bit like Ron Perlman. The new Yeti, I don't know, is he supposed to look like Doug Hopkins maybe? You say whatever you want about the Polar Warbears. It won't bother me one bit. I love all of the Polar Warbears. I love both of these sculpts. The old one is a little bit silly. It's got huge teeth. It's lumbering, but I mean, it's coming for you. It's threatening. It's large. Both of these sculpts are pretty cool. There's a comparison though. Alright guys, there is no comparison here. The new Frozen Horror is humongous compared to his old version. All of the monsters that come with this, even though they're supposed to be in the new taller scale, they seem to kind of shrivel up in comparison to the older models, but not this guy. This guy is going to take up space on the board. He's going to command attention. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's huge. And finally, the female barbarian. My classic female barbarian came to me painted. While I'm not going to paint the new barbarian, well, you know what, I'll take that statement back. I may actually paint her. That is the comparison for these guys. They have a kind of a similar pose, both very heroic, both ready to storm the frozen wastes. The older female barbarian had a lot more hair and a lot less cape, but the new one reverses that trend. Otherwise, they're pretty similar. Not much has changed in terms of the tiles, so I'm not going to actually hold those up and compare them side by side. I think Avalon Hill just did a very faithful reproduction with slightly updated art and just made sure that the size of them was going to be compatible with the new version of HeroQuest. It is a larger size tile, and all of the tiles that are marked with the words have been remade into tiles that are more visually representative of what that tile stands for, as it should be in my opinion, not just a tile with words on it. The Classic Edition HeroQuest did not come with a pad of ice blue character sheets. When I say ice blue, I don't know if the camera really does justice how subtle that blue is. I think it does do it justice. It does look pretty similar, but it is a very, very subtle blue. Finally, the moment that I'm sure some of you have been asking or waiting for, a comparison between the two quest books. Obviously got a table of contents and what is included with the expansion. That's not changed. Description of the special tiles and rooms. Rule clarifications for passing items, the spiral stairway, and multiple attacks seem to have stayed exactly the same, with the examples being the same as well. Even the last pages are the same, and both of these come with a disclaimer to study the book carefully. Although it is your guide to running these adventures, it may not answer every question you have during play. When in doubt, use your experience and imagination to make the best choice. You are the ultimate authority in your HeroQuest world. The quest guide begins with an updated visual on the message from Mentor, and from this point on I'm going to look at just a few of the quests, so if you want to avoid spoilers as a hero, I would stop here. If you're a Zargon though, continue watching. We have updated art for the first quest. Everything is largely unchanged. Saint on Past is a solo quest designed for a single barbarian. Trial by Ice is untouched, as well as the rescue. The group quest, the Glacial Gate, seems to be untouched as well. It is just as threatening, all the way up through quests 9 and 10, the double quest, the Heart of Ice. Again, unchanged. There has been mention in the community of a desire for an errata. I think part of that may be addressed within here, but not the subjective opinion parts of the desired errata. There are concerns about things like the Yeti Hug Attack, things like that. It looks like everything has been kept completely intact as with the original, but I haven't gone through here in detail, and I'm not going to do that in this video, so that may not be a completely true statement. In fact, there is a statement on the last page about the Yeti's attack. Whenever the Yeti's attack causes a hero to lose at least one body point, the Yeti grabs the hero in a powerful hug. This continues until the hero dies or the Yeti is killed by the hero's companions. This is simply the same ridiculously hard scenario. Now, having said that, Avalon Hill has commented in channels, in unofficial non-announcement areas, talking about a bit of a change to this rule. This facilitates Zargon. This does not mean you have to play with this rule. It doesn't mean you have to have the Yeti do this every turn. You don't have to torture your heroes like that. So it's not necessarily something that is broken for them to fix, but they did hear the concerns from the community about attacks and difficulty and things like that for this expansion in particular. And And in the opinion of a lot of people, using a lot of different metrics even, it is the most difficult quest out of all of the expansions, most difficult campaign. So it's understandable that they would want to include something here. I don't think it's included with the expansion itself. I think that they're going to release something a bit separate on the matter. So if you're following Avalon Hill or Zargon on Twitter, you might see something of that nature soon. Maybe it'll be something on the Hasbro Pulse website. But in any case, this looks to be a dream come true for me. It is a pretty much one-to-one updated new replica of the original Barbarian Quest Pack, and I couldn't be happier with it. So I know exactly what I'm going to do with this Quest Pack. I think I'm going to buy a second one so that I can have access to doubles of all of the monsters and really double up on those guys. But don't worry, it's retail availability, which means you can buy 10 if you want. They're just going to make more. So no worries, and I'm sure that this is the convention going forward. This is the standard. This is the bar that is set. Avalon Hill making things in mass for us, that we all have a chance to get this. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. That's it for me. Please comment down below anything that you would like, comments, questions, concerns, suggestions. I will respond to those. Thank you again very much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, have a fantastic day, and bye for now.